think of the last person who made you feel behind. The strange part, you were not losing to them. Tonight you learn what your brain is really racing and who builds it. This is the machinery of comparing yourself to others. It is 11:37 on a Tuesday night, and the lights are already off. You are one scroll from sleep when his face appears. A guy from your graduating class holding a glass of something expensive. New title, new city, one of those captions that starts with the word humbled. Your chest does that small, specific clench. Here is the first strange fact about that clench. A billionaire bought another island this week, and you felt nothing. Your neighbor bought a slightly better car, and it stung. Why does the near miss burn when the far one does not? Hold that question, because a psychologist answered it in 1954. Racing games have a mode where you drive against a ghost. A translucent car stitched together from the best lap ever driven on that track. Remember the ghost. It is about to explain your entire feed. In 1954, a 35-year-old psychologist named Leon Festinger published a strange kind of paper. No lab, no subjects, just numbered hypotheses stacked like gears. Hypothesis 1. Every human carries a drive to evaluate himself. Hypothesis 2 is the trap. When no objective gauge exists, you measure yourself with other people. There is no dashboard for how smart, successful, or attractive you are. So the brain does the only thing it can. It finds another runner. He called it social comparison. Not a habit, not a flaw, a measuring instrument that ships with the species. 3 years later, the same man would coin cognitive dissonance. This paper was the warm-up. And the instrument has a rule that explains your Tuesday night. You only compare against people close to your own level. Festinger wrote that the urge to compare fades as the distance grows. That is why the island did nothing, and the classmate burned. The billionaire is not on your track. The ghost is always assembled from the runners nearest you. Same office, same feed, same graduating class. That is the radius of pain. One more thing before the proof. The money version of this rule is the strangest. But a rule from 1954 has to survive a fair objection. Just refuse to race. In 1995, 3 psychologists tested whether refusing is possible. They sat 68 women in front of a rigged performance. Each watched another woman ace or bomb a judgment task. Then came the key sentence. Her score was staged, so it tells you nothing. Half the women also had to hold an 8-digit number in memory. The number had no purpose. It was a lab trick to keep a mind busy. The relaxed half obeyed the warning. Their self-ratings never moved. The busy half rated themselves strong after a weak rival, weak after a strong one. The staged score moved them anyway. Comparison fires automatically. Canceling it is the part that costs attention. You never decide to compare. You only decide whether to clean up afterward. And a tired brain at 11:37 p.m. is the busy condition. So the race starts itself, but surely the result decides how you feel. In 1992, the Olympics in Barcelona staged the perfect test. 3 years later, 3 psychologists ran the broadcast tapes with the sound off, so only the faces could speak. Raters scored each medalist's face on a 10-point scale, from agony to ecstasy. Silver medalists the moment they finished, 4.8. Bronze medalists, who had just lost to them, 7.1. On the medal stand, it held 4.3 against 5.7. The worse medal produced, the happier face. Because the 2 podium steps are on different tracks, silver races the ghost of gold, one step ahead. Bronze races the ghost of fourth place, the athlete who went home with nothing. The paper opens with William James from 1892. "A man can be shamed to death," he wrote, "because he is only the second best boxer on earth." They also quote a runner who took silver in 1912, interviewed at age 91. "I wake up sometimes and say, 'What the heck happened to me? It is like a nightmare.'" A lifetime later, the man was still racing the ghost of gold. The scoreboard does not make the feeling. The ghost you picked does. That was medals, and the money version is stranger, as promised. In 1998, 2 Harvard researchers published a question they had put to 257 people. They asked each person to choose between 2 worlds. Option 1, you earn $50,000 a year, and everyone around you earns $25,000. Option 2, you earn $100,000, and everyone around you earns $200,000. Prices are identical in both worlds. Option 2 simply buys twice as much. Half of them chose option 1. Half chose to burn $50,000 of real income to stay ahead of the ghost. Then the same people were asked about vacation weeks. Only 18% would shorten a vacation to beat the neighbors. Praise from the boss behaved like money. 77% took the positional world. Nobody scrolls a feed of other people's rest. Money is not the most useful good. It is the most comparable one. A survey is hypothetical. You could object that real life pays in dollars, not rank. In 2005, an economist checked that against 8,944 real households. He matched each family's happiness to the earnings of the people around them. Same income, same job, same family size. Only the neighbors' paychecks differed. The richer the neighborhood, the less happy the identical household. The damage was roughly the size of losing that much income yourself. He titled the paper, "Neighbors as Negatives." Your raise can be canceled from next door without anyone touching your account. Then transparency should be the cure. Show everyone the numbers and the fever breaks. In 2008, the Sacramento Bee built a searchable website of every California state salary. 4 economists saw a once-in-a-career experiment and emailed the link to random university workers. Use of the site jumped from 19% to 48%. Now everyone knew exactly where they stood. Workers below their unit's median, satisfaction dropped, and job hunting rose by 4.3 points. Not one paycheck had changed by $1, only its rank had become visible. Workers above the median, nothing. No warm glow, no extra loyalty, just silence at the top of the track. Looking up burns, looking down does not even warm your hands. Their summary, published in 2012, differences in pay rank matter more than differences in pay levels. Every study so far ran on a track with one built-in safety limit. In 1954, your comparison set was whoever lived within walking distance. A few dozen runners, most of them driving ordinary laps. The instrument was crude, but the track was honest. Then the track moved into your pocket. The feed removed the walking distance rule and kept the drive. In 2013, researchers texted 82 young adults 5 times a day for 14 days. Each ping asked 2 things. How do you feel, and how much have you scrolled? The more Facebook in one window, the worse the mood in the next. Seeing friends face to face did the opposite. Mood went up. Same people, same city. The difference was which track they stepped onto. The bedroom at 1137 is not a rest stop. It is a starting line. You could still object that unhappy people simply scroll more. In 2015, The same lab ran it as a true experiment. This time, they controlled the dose instead of just measuring it. They assigned 10 minutes of Facebook. Half could post and message, half could only watch. The active half ended the day fine. The passive scrollers ended the day measurably worse. And the damage traveled through exactly one emotion: envy. Envy is the sound of a comparison you did not consent to. Now put the ghost back on the table. The feed does not show you runners, it edits them. 1,000 people each post their single best lap. Your brain stitches the laps into one translucent opponent and calls it everyone else. You race your average day against a composite of 1,000 personal bests. No referee would allow that race. Your brain schedules it nightly. If the machine really builds ghosts, the manufacturer would have measured it. In 2021, leaked internal documents showed that it had. A slide from Instagram's own research team, dated 2019, reads, "We make body image issues worse for 1 in 3 teen girls." A second slide surveyed girls who already felt bad about their bodies. 32% said the app made that feeling worse. And more than 40% of users who felt unattractive said the feeling began on the app. Not a critic's claim, the maker's own lab notebook. The ghost has a factory, and the factory keeps quality records. So go back to the bedroom. 11:37, the humbled caption still glowing. Look closer at the opponent. The photo is Verboer's Tuesday, cropped out of 1,460 days. The title took him 4 years. The caption took him 40 minutes. He posted his best lap, and he is losing races you cannot see. On his own phone, at his own 11:37, another ghost is winning. And he is only one tile in tonight's opponent. His best day, her vacation, their engagement, fused into one translucent body. The sermons tell you to stop comparing. 1954 says you cannot. The drive ships with the species, and it fires automatically. But notice what you were actually racing all along. Not him, and not anyone real. You were never comparing yourself to them. You were racing a ghost. 2 letters before the track closes. The first is for you, the scroller. The clench at 11:37 is not evidence that you are behind. It is a 1954 instrument, doing exactly what it was built to do. You cannot unplug it, and pretending you can is what the sermons sell. But an instrument can be read instead of obeyed. Next time it fires, ask the only question that matters. Who assembled this ghost? A composite of best laps is not a runner, and it cannot finish a race. Losing to it is not a verdict. It is a category error. Nobody holds the record you keep losing to. The second letter is for the version of you that posts. Every best lap you publish gets stitched into a stranger's opponent. Somewhere tonight, someone you barely remember is racing your ghost. And losing. You are the humbled caption in another bedroom. That is not an accusation. It is the physics of the track. The most honest thing you ever posted was probably your slowest lap. Notice which posts made strangers envious and which ones made friends call you. Turn the phone face down and the track goes dark. The race was always real, only the opponent was synthetic. Last episode asked who taught you which floor to look up at. Now you know. A drive from 1954 and a feed that picks your track. But watching the ghost teaches you nothing about being watched. There are only 2 ways to make people look up to you. One of them quietly makes people despise you. That is the next unwritten rule.